You're watching CEO University, and I'm your host, Amy Ramsey, and we are here helping coaches learn the secrets, habits, and insider strategies to build that amazing six-figure plus and freedom-based business. And I'm super excited today because I've got my friend and fellow CEO and business babe with me, Lisa Winston. And Lisa is an authenticity and realignment coach. She facilitates transformation in people's personal lives and conscious businesses. She believes in such good stuff, such as building a solid inner foundation, alignment with one's core essence, deeper connection to one's inner guidance, living from an unshakable and unapologetic knowing and love of oneself. And she believes that this is how we can have a life of joy, purpose, and prosperity. And if that wasn't enough, she is also a best-selling author, teacher, artist, vocalist, mentor, and to top it all off, she's also a mom. Hi, Lisa.
Oh my God. That was such an amazing introduction. Thank you. I'm all excited now.
It's all you.
I did all that stuff. I
know. I was going to say, it's all you. People always say, Amy, that's such a lovely intro. Like, how nice of you. And I'm thinking, but you created this. You did this. Yeah. But you know what? You know what, Lisa? It's such a great example of how sometimes we have to have things like reflected back to us to really realize like, oh, okay, I'm doing pretty good at this business thing.
Yeah, I love that. That's funny because, you come up with it, but you don't sit and stare at it all day. It's kind of like, okay, here you go. And then you forget about it.
I know. Yeah. No, it's so true. That's why it's so good to have a community and mentors and stuff to help show you hey, this is how we see you. This is how you're showing up. And if you like how you're showing up, then hey, 2 thumbs up. 2 thumbs up. I love that. All right. So I should warn everybody, we were having a total love fest before this interview. And then Lisa took a moment to get us really centered and connected with source. So now I think we're both feeling super high energy in the vibe. So let's get into some questions and see how we can help our audience today. But I feel like this is going to be a fun one for sure. First of all, your book, Keys to Conscious Business Growth. I was reading a bit about it, and it looks like it focuses on conscious values and authenticity as being the real key to growing a business. Love that. So wondering if you would be super generous and give our audience a sneak peek and really just share some of the highlights, in particular as related to a coach really stepping into their role as CEO.
Yeah, I'd love to. It's funny because I always wanted to be a writer. And so that was my first experience. And I decided I had done it through Powerful You Publishing because Sue Erding was on one of my first summits and also my second. She's a dear friend. And it gave me an opportunity to really I was really feeling it at the moment. I had started business coaching and how that whole process goes down the first year, hitting a lot of walls and, having big aha moments. And so I really wanted to share it because I really was feeling things from a heart space that I had never felt before. And so I was just a co-author in this book. I was one of 20 people. They were amazing, beautiful people. And a lot of the authors put in there, very strategic things about business. And I was really in the primary stages of learning about who I was and where I was going at the point that I wrote it. But I really, let me just give you some highlights about what that talks. There are several highlights actually about how you need to have a coach or a mentor to really get you where it is that you need to go. That's absolutely critical because I never had that for years. I spent money to programs, couldn't do it on my own. I had a lot of big walls. So I knew that when I got a coach that was the key to my success. I had to do the work, but I didn't have the skills. I didn't have the community. I didn't have the hand holding and the guidance. So that was huge. Also, I always knew that I had a lot of grit because I had been through a lot of experiences, but that's a huge one. You really have to be tenacious. You have to be committed. You have to be determined. You have to show up, fall on your face, get up, ride again. It also talks about community, talks about authentic leadership. And that's a big one that I like to touch on, being transparent. My own story was called Trusting the Journey, because it was so bizarre. I went through so many different phases of following my heart, following my inner guidance. I ended up in Malibu for a year. I've moved like 5 times in the last 2.5 years, but I kept going where I was told. It was a story that was weaving itself, and I didn't know where it was headed. I just kept going, and I kept hitting walls and getting back up and moving forward. So I think that's one of the biggest things when you know that you're here to do your soul purpose, your life's mission, and you really want to move forward. It's a total commitment. You have to totally trust, and then you have to take action. And then as you go along, you really learn about yourself. You learn about the business, and you learn about so many things. So there are lots and lots of keys. The book's really great. Again, everybody has one small story that they share. There are stories like mine in it that are just a story about, like, after my awakening, when I really, really decided to move forward on my path. And then there are others that have really great strategies and, the values that we should have. So it's a great little tool, easy read, a really great book, got great reviews.
Cool. You just hit on so many things too. You hit on so many things.
Oh.
For one, the journey, right? The journey of business, the evolution. That's really been a huge topic throughout this entire series. It's come up a lot, this idea of following the breadcrumbs, allowing it to all unfold. But I think in order to do that, you hit on something I would love for us to dive into deeper, because I think in order to truly follow the breadcrumbs, follow your heart, follow the guidance, you have to have a lot of self-trust.
Yeah, you do.
And trust in, and not only trust in yourself, trust in, some sort of higher guidance system, I think. Trust in the process. If you've already hired people to help you, if you've already hired a coach or a mentor, trust in them. Holy moly, trust, Lisa.
Yeah, holy moly's right. And that's an ongoing journey, because I'm still, I have 2 coaches this year, and my other coach keeps saying to me every time I make a decision and I don't trust myself, she goes, trust yourself, trust yourself. So it's for everybody. We never get exactly where we're going. The destination is the journey. We're not really going to arrive anywhere. We're just always moving and evolving and shifting and changing. And our trust gets deeper, which is really cool, because I used to not trust myself at all. I used to be the most indecisive person on the planet. And through this process, I've learned that, when I do connect to my higher self, my inner essence, my core spirit, I like to say that I'm going to just use the word spirit, because sometimes God offends people, and you can call it whatever you want to. It's just the power that we're part of. But it's interesting because, again, I always say that spirit is the CEO over me and my company.
Oh,
and that's not as that's not like my daughter hated when I said that. She's like, Mom, you're in control of your life. And I said, no, I am. But there's still this essence that controls things that are unseen, that I don't have any control over, and that I am here to actually learn to surrender to. And so I'm always evolving and growing. I don't feel like I'm being punished. I don't feel like I don't have free will. I just know that if I tap into that source, that everything I need is going to come to me in big ways. And if I used to do this thing where, because we're all holding on like this initially. When we start this process of trying to trust ourselves and become a CEO, we're all holding like this, like we're constricted. Like I'm scared. I'm holding on to the little money I have. I'm holding on to who I am. Oh my God. And then there's this point where if you really want to expand and grow and trust, you have to just open your arms up and say, I surrender. I totally surrender. I'm here. I'm a conduit. I know you're going to come through me. If I open up and surrender, the right things will come through. So for me, when I jumped in, I didn't know what I was getting into when I signed up with our business coach. It was like, holy moly is right. When I, got into the group, it was like, oh, la, 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 everything's great. And then bam, hit a wall, bam, hit a wall. But it was this beautiful process of trusting myself. I had never trusted myself before. When I signed for that coaching program, I was terrified because I had failed a lot. I had never completed things. So that was my first step in trusting myself. And then it's just this unfolding adventure. Every choice you make, everything you learn, you just have to really show up. Number one, you have to show up. And again, we're here to teach what we're here to learn. Every time I tell my clients to do something and like, I don't do it, I get hit. It's like, practice what you teach. That's the way it is. That's what we're here to learn. I'm learning about authenticity at a deep level. That's why I'm here teaching it. So show up, learn to be trusting in your higher power, be authentic. In other words, get to know who you really are at a deeper level, because, we are our businesses. And then I guess we can talk, I don't know if you want to talk about that now, but inner alignment is really super important too. So again, it's just, as you know, because you've been on the journey too, it's a matter of trusting that first step, and then trusting each step you take after that. And it doesn't mean that it's perfect. It means that you hit walls and you find out about who you are, and your inner trust deepens. And it just keeps evolving and unfolding, and it's a beautiful journey. It really is.
Oh, I love this so much. So yet again, you said several things, and I'm like, ooh, let's talk about that. So I'm over here taking my notes. Like the good student, because I want to learn even more too. And all of these things, it just goes deeper and deeper. So one of the things you said is, I used to be super indecisive and could not make a decision to save my life.
Yeah.
Oh my word, Lisa. Is this not is fast decision making and being able to make decisions, is that not just such a huge trait of a CEO? I mean, it's so key, but I think when people, and this ties into what you said about I failed a lot in the past, right? So you have all of these things, and I hear this from people all the time. I hear this from potential clients. I hear this from just people I'm chatting with, friends. I hear this from my clients. We have all of these years and these stories of, but it didn't work out before. But yes, I did invest the money, but then I didn't get the results. Or, I did try to follow my passion, but it didn't work out. And we have all of these things of failure. And I think that leads us to having these moments of, I really feel like I'm being called in this direction, but I no longer really trust myself. And so therefore I don't make the decision, and I don't say yes. And really, I don't ever say no either. I'm just hanging out in this in between, well, I don't know, maybe space. All right. This is not a really well-formed question, but give me your thoughts on that, Lisa.
Well, it sparks a lot of emotion in me because it really is bringing up a lot of emotion. To be a CEO, you have to have this incredible grit, and you have to do things even if you're terrified to do them. And I actually have been working with a lot of my clients because, as a coach, you and I go through all the time where people are resonating with us. They really know they want to work with us. They're ready to go. They're really excited. And then all of a sudden, bam, they hit a wall. Because it's like the deer in the headlights. I always said I liken it to like I have a gun to somebody's head. It's that big, and it's so intangible because it's nothing. It's just this old stuff and this fear. So I really love to run this with my clients, and this is what I learned too: is that resistance. There are 3 determining factors when you hit resistance. Number 1, if you're being chased by a tiger, run like hell because you're in danger. Number 2. Really feel into resistance, because if you have resistance, it may be a red flag. Now you have to be careful when you make that decision, because it could also be self-sabotage, not wanting to move forward. But what I found that's so beautiful and true, and that's why I jump in when I get big opportunities, and I know they're going to hurt a little bit, I do them anyway, and that is when you feel resistance that's so big and you cannot get beyond it, to jump in, because there's this ginormous treasure chest of gold waiting on the other side. I'm getting goosebumps as I say it. That's such truth. And so the heartbreaking part is that people a lot of times don't know that. They let the fear hold them back. They miss out on the nuggets and the treasure chest. They have no idea. And I'm with them. I've been there. You've been there. We felt that fear. But we had that inner fire, that inner grit, whatever it is. When you're on the front lines doing this stuff, you have to be a warrior. And you have to not be afraid of getting beaten up. That's just the way it is. So you have to push through the resistance. You have to make those quick decisions, because the longer you wait, the longer you're going to go the other way, and you're just hurting yourself. You're not showing up for yourself at all. So that is huge. It's huge. And again, it breaks my heart because there's so many people that may be back later, or people that just, I mean, I've had people come in, saying, I'm going to send me the agreement, I'm ready to go. And they literally disappear off the planet.
Yes. Yep.
You can't call them. You can't text them. They don't respond. Like, are you okay? Did you die? Are you, it's huge, and it's got a really amazing energy attached to it. And that's why I want people to know what I'm speaking here. And that is, do it, jump in, because I'm telling you right now, if it's that big, you have no idea what's waiting for you. And yeah, you may have to work a little bit, but so what? If somebody handed you something, if somebody handed you your coaching business on a platter and just said, here it is, here you have, 40 clients to start, here you go, money, there you go. Guess what? You'd be like, you wouldn't even you wouldn't appreciate it. You wouldn't know who you are. You wouldn't know your message. You wouldn't know anything. It's a journey. You have to get to know every piece of you and come up against every piece of resistance that's been in you. And that, like you said, the old story, because it's just a story, but you have to come up against it, see it, and go, oh, cool. That was a part of me, but I'm going to go anyway. So yeah, I could talk like all day on that because it's so huge.
I'm getting goosebumps. I don't want to be like, yeah, Lisa.
Well, I'm tired of, and I can love victims all day long.
Yeah.
But after a while, it's wow, wow, wow. If you want change, get off your butt and move. That's just the way it is. Right?
Oh, preach, Lisa. So,
yes,
so many, I know. And oh my goodness, there's so many things I want to say about all this. Like, I don't even know where to start. Fear just really can feel very real. Yeah. And yeah, that resistance. And one of the things too that I tell people is, if you have that thing, that pull in you that is saying to you, I want to be an entrepreneur, or I want to be a coach, it's not going to go away.
Right.
It's not.
No.
Like, I had a moment in third grade where, and I've shared this story in the past, but I had a moment in third grade where I knew I was not going to be in an office. I knew I was not going to be doing an 8 to 5. Now in third grade, I had no idea what options were for me. Coaching didn't even exist then, really. Like, I didn't know what it meant, but I had that, right? Well, guess what? It does not go away. So, you can hit resistance and you can turn away from it. Or you can give into it, and then I guarantee there will be a time again, you're going to be invited again to step into, okay, here's the crossroads again, where you get to make that decision again. Are you going to show up this way, which, in the context of this series, and I've seen this over and over again, like, you're at that crossroads, and it's the invitation to, are you going to show up this way? Are you going to continue to play smaller than you could? Are you going to hide more than you should? Are you going to choose to kind of puddle along slowly in your business, choose to keep it part-time? Or are you going to step up and be CEO? And are you going to take the leap? And are you going to say, you know what? In the past, yeah, sure, maybe I showed up that way and I wish I hadn't, but you know what? Today is a new day. Today I get to decide. Today I get to show up differently, and today I'm going to be CEO, and this is how we're doing things from now on. Period. End of story. New day. Boom, done.
See, I love that, because first of all, the first thing I'm getting to say to to the audience is that, first of all, the reason, again, I'm not religious, I'm spiritual, but I've seen what's happened in my life because of that connection. It's supernatural. It's magical. It's miraculous. I don't understand it. I just know that when I follow it, it supports me. It loves me. It leads me in the right direction. So even if you're terrified, just having that shred of, I know there's something supporting me, whatever it is, that should be enough, because that's what we're being called to do. We're not just doing it because we're doing it. We're being called. It's a life mission. It's a soul purpose. We're here to serve others. It's huge. It's not like this, I think I'm going to be a coach today. It's a big freaking deal, right? The other thing I'm hearing for your audience is this. If you're considering being a coach, You start out as, I want to be a coach or whatever it is you're going to be, and then you move into being a CEO. This is all an evolution. But what I've learned is this, and I just did this with my tribe not too long ago, and you probably saw it in our group. I am a big love muffin, like you are. We have hearts that are just so big and full of love. And we love people all day long, love, love, love. And we post things, and we want them to feel better about yourself. And you know what? There was something that hit me not too long ago. It was like, enough. I love you people. But guess what? I am a crappy coach. If I sit there and stroke you all day long, if you want to be a coach, if you really want to serve people, if you really want to get out there and serve the one life and become everything that you are here to be, you have to make those decisions, because you're going to help other people make those decisions. And if you can't do it, then don't even think about being a high-powered, transformational leader and coach. I always get buzzing when I speak truth. It's just like all over me. That is such truth, so don't think you can dabble in coaching. You can't. And if you can't make the decision, you cannot help anybody else do it. Period. That's the bottom line. That's just what it is.
Oh, Lisa, I love you. So I just had this conversation with a client of mine the other day. And all right, I'll be really honest here, because I feel like a lot of people don't talk about this to larger audiences. They might talk about it with their clients, but they don't talk about it in larger audiences. So you know what? Forget it. I'm just going to share, because I think people need to know this, and like newer people need to know this. Sometimes your clients get very mad at you. Sometimes they're not thrilled with you and your coaching. And what I told my client the other day, who was not happy with me, and who was, feeling all these kinds of things about what she thought I thought about her, felt about her, whatever. I said to her, this is good, because if my clients like me the entire time they're working with me, then I have not done my job, and we have not hit the nerve that we need to hit in order for you to have the transformation that I know you're available for. And you know what came out of that, Lisa? This has happened before, of course, but this one, man, it was powerful. What came out of that was she was feeling some of the same ways about some of my coaching to her and some of the stuff that was going on. She was feeling, it was the same core wound. And it was a core wound that came from her childhood, from her mom. And I'm like, this is your thing. Like, this is the thing that you have got to move through this year, like this really first year in her business, in order to have what she wants. And then, of course, next year she'll move through this, and the next year there'll be another thing, and you'll hit it, and you'll be like, holy cow, this is the big thing for me this year. Oh man, yeah. So I feel like, because it's like people hit resistance, and she was, my client was so worried about having this conversation with me and feeling like she was mad at me. And I'm like, I'm glad you are. I'm like, I'm trying to get at these from everybody in my group, right? Because if I haven't made somebody mad yet, they're not doing the work enough. They're not taking the action. They're kind of playing at surface level, and they're not really going into their stuff where I know like they're going to have a huge pop, right? Yeah. Oh, ladies.
I just had that happen too. You probably read it in group also. I mean, it was an eye opener, because for 10 months we had this great, year, and then all of a sudden finally massively hit a core wound, and the brakes went on, and the client was ready to quit. And also for people who are going to be a CEO, again, this is part of the beautiful journey. And that is, we think we're going to go and be coaches. We're going to transform lives. Everything's going to be great. And then you get people. People are different. People go to therapy. People go to coaching. People do various things. People have resistance. Some people break through. Some people don't break through. Some people like to blame. Whatever it is. And what I really learned in that moment too is that we always have to hold people in a space that's much higher than they can see for themselves. That's the only way we can be effective coaches. And we cannot be so emotionally invested. I know you probably do this too. I want my clients to transform. I give them everything I can. I support them. But again, if they decide to hit that wall and if they decide it's too big, either it's not time or they're not willing to see it, it's not your fault. It's not your responsibility for them to transform. So this stuff happens all the time. There are a lot of dynamics in this. It's so profound and it's so deep and it's frustrating. But again, I just want to let your viewers know that if you go into this process, there will be times that people don't like you. I mean, when I sent an email to my tribe and called people out, I had people unsubscribe. I had people sending me hate mails. I had people coming in. I got clients from it. They were like, we like the direct approach. And I was like, that's right. I hit a nerve. That's a good place to be. Yeah. So, I think that transformation comes from us being, again, in a special space, holding them higher and allowing them their journey. If they're not ready to do it, God, it would be great if they could do it because that's what they came to us for. But maybe next year they'll do it, or maybe they'll never do it. It's not ours to own. So, yeah, there's so many aspects of this journey.
Right? Don't you feel like though, because I feel like you and I are similar in that when I started, I could not have navigated that whole clients not liking me thing. Like it would have totally, I just would have had a complete meltdown.
Oh, did you have people pleaser stand on your forehead like I did for years? I don't know about you, but that was my journey.
Yeah, and it's also that wanting to be liked. Like truly, like wanting to be their friend, wanting them to like validate me and see me. And, I'm like, quite frankly, I tried that with a few clients and you can guess how that went. Like it's just the results, they just, they made some movement, but it just wasn't that great. And for me, it really was a moment when I really declared this whole CEO thing and started to embody it. That was when the ability to recognize what's going on for people and to not take things personally. Hello, highlight that one, everybody.
Yeah, standing in your fire, Yeah, standing in your power. That's what you're here to do. Yeah. Who wants to pay money to a wimpy coach who can't stand in their power?
I know. I told my client, I'm like, I hired a coach that triggered the hell out of me. I did. Now it happens less and less, right? Because I've grown and I've understood, and every time something triggers me, I know it's my opportunity to look within and go, wow, okay, what is this? What is going on for me? Because it's not her, it's me. It's my shit, right? And that's why I hired her, was I needed somebody who would trigger me and who would make me mad, because I knew that the lovely, loving, feminine, flowy coach that I had before, I just didn't see the results. I didn't. So yeah, like I had to find the coach that I knew really, truly cared about me and believed in me enough to tell me what she knew I didn't want to hear.
And see, that's why I have two, one that's flowy and a feminine flow, and one who's masculine. When I first signed up with our coach, I looked at her and I knew you're going to kick my butt, and that's what I need. So yeah, I hear you. But that's a good thing. It's a really good thing.
I freaking love this, because I hope people are really looking at, themselves when they look at, okay, who's the next coach I need to hire, or who's the mentor I want, but also what kind of coach do I want to be for my clients? Because we do have an audience of coaches here. So, having them really look at what makes me a good coach. Yeah. And of course, it's the be a great coach and be a CEO. And, what are the qualities that really merge the two and have them working together to build these freaking amazing businesses?
Yeah. And again, it's a journey. There are a lot of different aspects of it. We'll have a lot to do until the day we leave the planet. That's the cool thing. We never stop growing. So it's pretty exciting.
I know. Yeah. All right. So I think we have a little bit more time to get into this.
Yay, I don't want to stop.
I know. Oh my goodness. We could just keep chatting. Inner alignment. Let's talk about that, because that is like, I cannot have you on as an expert in this and have us not talk about this. That would just be terrible for our audience. That would be totally out of service. So Lisa, I'm just going to say inner alignment and let you take it from there. Like,
you're so intuitive, because that's exactly, I'm like, alignment. I was thinking that, so you were hearing me.
We are.
Yeah. It's funny because, there are a lot of coaches out there, and they're brilliant coaches. I mean, I'm not downing anybody at all, but there are a lot of people that, pull at pieces. It's like, if you do this, you'll be this. And if you do that, if you clear limiting beliefs, that's the end all to be all. And for me, what Spirit brought me back to was, because again, this is my journey of authenticity, inner alignment. If you don't know who you are, because I didn't start out that way, right? We sign up for business, we do the business skills, we hit the walls, and then it's like, holy crap, right? I got some problems here. I've got some things I need to figure out. And I realized what I take it back now with my clients too. And I, because I have a lot of coaches that come in and they're brilliant and they yoga instructors, whatever it is, but they're like, hey, but my personal life is kind of in shambles and I'm afraid to be seen. And I'm this and I'm that. And it goes back to that inner alignment. It goes back to igniting your core essence, your inner fire, learning to love yourself, learning to know who you are. If you don't and again, that's a journey. But if you don't know who you are, how can you have a business? Because your business is you. When you have a conscious business, you are the business. And so as you grow and you change, your business does that as well. And you line up with people and you resonate with people, and then your tribe comes to you. So inner alignment, and that is, again, for me, I give a lot of, not a lot, but I give meditations to really line up, ground and center, to deepen the intuition, to really work. We're not just physical beings, we're energy beings, we're spiritual beings. We're in this human body for a time, and we forget. Nobody gives us, a guide to navigating life as a physical, spiritual, emotional, whatever being, right? We come in and we're like, oh, this stuff's happening to me. Oh my God. But we're in control. There are some things that are out of our control. But if we can align who we are, manage our energy, deepen our intuition, listen to our inner guidance so that we can hear where we're supposed to go next, and then have great coaches and friends and mentors and colleagues that can help us hear the pieces that we can't hear. If we stay present in every present moment and take one step at a time, and really also make sure that we go out and do things like walk in nature, inner alignment. And this has been my journey as well, because I'm still working on it. I tend to overwork when I'm really busy, and then I crash and burn. And because I'm teaching people not to do that, and then I do it. We all need to take time to walk in nature. We need to find out what's in our highest and best. I'm an artist, and so I've been painting and producing clothing with my paintings. So I do that. I don't sing so much anymore, but I do it every once in a while. We have to find a way to line everything up that nurtures us and that creates that inner flow and that connection. Because everything that comes through us is coming from spirit. It's coming from that universal mind. If we're not attached to it, then we're trying to get it from our heads. We're not really helping people. We're not doing what's in their highest and best good. So I believe, and in my experience and what I've seen with my clients, is as we get to know who we are, as we get to really align with who we really are at a core essence, then everything else flows from that and keeps evolving from that space.
Oh, I love it. So
I love you. I do.
here's what I'm hearing from that as well, is all of the activities you described that help you get into inner alignment, like painting, walking in nature, doing those things. To me, they are in essence getting us out of our heads.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just want everybody to hear that and kind of underscore there is, business is strategy, plan, formula, practical steps, all that. And it's mindset, it's alignment, it's who are you. It's saying yes to this strategy, no to this one. Oh, Lisa, I love you.
I'm having energy surges, hot flashes.
I can tell.
Our connection is so strong, and the energy is so strong.
And, because, we all have different ways of saying these things, and I don't use the term inner alignment, but I'm always telling my clients, I'm like, what are you doing to get into your body? What are you doing to get out of your head? Because I feel like that is what's really getting us back to who I am as a person, and then, aligned, and then also decluttering so that you can be connected and you can listen and hear. And guess what? When you do that, all right, we're going full circle here. When you do that, hello, you can listen better, which means you trust better, which means, you know, the whole conversation we had at the beginning about self-trust and like, how do you do that in the journey? Like, you do start to feel those things on a deeper level when you do these things like inner alignment, getting out of your head, getting into your body.
And just let me, if I may add, it's all a practice. Again, there's no magic pill. We're not going to hand it to you. It's the journey because, you know, again, if somebody hands it to you, you can't get to know all the juicy, yummy aspects of who you are and where the universe wants to go and, you know, who you're really becoming, what your message is. So it's just this ongoing, I'm signing up for this journey, this lifelong journey of whatever it is, you know, learning who I am, aligning every day, practicing, because that's where self-mastery comes in. We have to practice everything. We have to practice our business. We have to practice strategies. We have to practice techniques. We have to practice our alignment. So it's a big commitment. But I'll tell you what, as you know, yeah, the first year's hard. It's hard. But man, it's eye-opening. And then the second year, you hit some walls, but you know what? It gets easier. And you step into who you really are and you step into your power, and all of a sudden, things are happening, clients come in, and it's just this miraculous process that's so beautiful, and you have more joy in the journey. So it's really one of the most worthwhile things you could ever do if you're called to it.
Yeah. I'm just like, whoo, yeah. And I think it's good for everybody to hear too, that the first year is a lot of managing your mind, working through shit. I mean, let's be real. It's, you know, like I was talking about my client, and I said to her, this is the thing. If you can move through this year, heal this, move past this, you will have a successful business. Yeah. And that is what I feel like the first year is a lot. And that's why I think so many coaches go back to having a job or think that they were wrong, like they didn't hear following their passion the right way because they hit those things and they think it's the resistance telling them no. Or taking that
crossroads
again and choosing to go, you know, off the path instead of, you know, choosing to go on the path, even though the path sometimes looks like that.
Well, it's expectations too. We all expect to like make $1 million in a year, and it doesn't happen that way. You know, I mean, I don't know about you, but if you remember the first time you signed up for a coach for a year-long coaching program, for me, I was terrified. I mean, I cried. I used all my money in the previous years, you know, trying to find the magic pill. And it was a big commitment. And it wasn't really the money. It's really the energy of, you know, that commitment that you have no idea you're making. That's really where the fear comes in. But you think it's the money. But then like the second year when you sign up, you know, and you're like, oh my God, it's more money. And now I've got 2 coaches. It's like, you don't always want to spend it, but it's just like with your business. All of a sudden it gets easier because you know that as you give and you know, continue your commitment and you keep doing it, these decisions just become easier and easier because you know it's part of the journey and you know that you're fully supported and all that money's coming back to you. So it's got, we could talk about this for like 5 hours.
Oh, it's so beautiful. And honestly, I'm not even sure how long we've gone, but I'm pretty sure we've gone.
I don't know.
Whoopsie.
I can't see now. So
no, you guys, Amy got all excited and just very in the flow. It must have been that that quick prayer that you did where we were setting our intentions because and this is actually like, this is a great ritual too if you're looking to be more aligned. Like Lisa just did a quick prayer where she asked for us to be a channel. And she just asked that the words that you needed to hear would come through us. And I think that's a great thing to do, you know, before you write emails, before you talk to prospective clients, that's just, I do that often before sales conversations. I ask, please let me show up and help this person and give them what they need right here and now. And, you know, guide me to help them, really. Yeah.
And thank goodness we don't have to come up with it, because if I had to come up with all the stuff that comes through from my mind, I'd be in deep trouble. You know how when you're talking to clients and the words come through and you go, that was brilliant. Wow. Where'd that go? You know, it's like it's not us. That's the cool thing, you know? It's amazing.
Yeah. I've always been a writer, so I have those moments a lot where I'm like, where did I get that? Cool.
I know. It's amazing. I love it.
Cool. All right, lady. Man. Okay. So tell everybody where they can keep up with you online. And I know you've got something that I'm sure is going to help people. If they're totally digging this conversation, if they're like, yes, we need more of this. It's like a big thing I know I have to work on. Will you share with everybody what you have for them?
Absolutely. Well, let me give you the gift first, and then I'll tell you where you can go, and it's very easy. My gift today, which I came up with it because there's so many people that just are hitting walls of resistance constantly. And so I used to be into just meditation, but now I like to have moments of reflection. Not that you have to write things down and like, it's like even when a limiting belief comes up, you don't have to write it, necessarily focus on it, because I like to stay focused on the positive and where we're headed. But it's really good to reflect and kind of see what you're up against and, where you've come from and go, oh yeah, I get that. It's just this process of getting to who you are and feeling into it. So what I'm giving today, everybody on the summit is, it's a resistance buster toolkit, so to speak. It's called something different, like clearing resistance toolkit. But basically what it is it's a grounding and centering meditation, very short. I think it's only 5 minutes or 8 minutes. All my meditations that I'm giving everybody are like a template. They can do them longer if they want to. So grounding and centering, super important. The next one is the love expansion meditation. I've had great results with my clients. And this is, expanding that divine love and the love that you are so that you can start being more love and, sharing more love and getting more loving things back to you, that come back to you. The third one is, let go of resistance. That's another meditation that's really beautiful and soothing and helpful. And then I have a clearing resistance guide sheet where you literally sit down and as you're going through it, you ask yourself some of these questions, because I'm big into being a detective. Whenever you come up against blocks, whenever anything's coming up, you always go in and ask, what is this showing me? Where is this leading me? What do I need to see here? So becoming a detective is super important. And then I also have a free 30-minute session. If anybody wants to talk, get clear, go through resistance, work through some fear, whatever it is, I'm also offering that as well. So that's your toolkit, and that's what I've got for you today.
Badass, Lisa. Badass. Thank you for that. Oh man, so many goodies in there. Thank you. And as always, everybody, there is a link underneath this video where you can grab all of those goodies. So, girlfriend, thank you. Thank you so much for your time, your expertise, sharing so openly from your heart, and just, so good. Thank you.
I love you so much. And you can find me at LisaWinston.AuthenticityCoach.com. Lisa Winston, I know it's a long one, but that's what I am. Lisa Winston, AuthenticityCoach.com. Awesome. And I want to thank you so much, because this is on my heart too. What you're doing is so profound, because it is such a huge step for people to take, and we want them to take it. We want to be really transparent. So you're giving, it's not like, be a CEO, and everything's great and peachy and do these strategies and you too can be a CEO. This is, you're really getting to the meat, the truth of what it takes. It's all transparent. It's all truthful, and it's a big journey, but you're so supported. It's so worth it. So I love the energy of this. And I love how it's really going to touch a lot of hearts. It's really going to spark a lot of people to say, okay, I'm a little afraid to do this, but I'm really being called. And like you said, if you're being called and you don't step in, you're going to get hit with a 2x4 at some point, right? So thank you. Thank you for all you're doing to your service to the world, and to further more, heart-centered people coming into their businesses, because they're so needed on the planet. So thank you. I love you so much and all that you do.
Oh, Lisa, you're gonna make me cry. I'm like over here tearing up. Thank you, because I really am. This is part of my life's work for sure. So this is like, I'm just like,
good stuff, girl.
There's not even words to describe how excited I am about this entire series. So thank you for that.
Love you.
Thank you, and we will see you next time, and we will see you online.
Bye now.
Bye.